Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs continue to roll on the recruiting trail, picking up a commitment today from four-star running back Tovani Mizell, one of the top 2024 running backs in the country out of Maryland. Big time pickup. We know that, Del McGee has struggled a little bit on the recruiting trail in the 23 class, missing on Justice Haynes, missing on Richard Young, both of them going to Alabama. Not ideal at all for the Georgia Bulldogs. They needed to get a running back on the commit list sooner than later, and they got one today. He's not in the 23 class, but he is one of the best in the country in the 2024 class. If you've been on Dog Post, I hope, read the story that I wrote on him last week, where he basically told me, hey, Georgia is running back university, and that's what they told me. He said that they walked him through all the great running backs in recent years, and even before that, the Herschel Walker days, Robert Edwards, Garrison Hurst, Musa Smith, Noshawn Marino, Todd Gurley, Keith Marshall, DeAndre Swift, Nick Chubb, Sonny Michel, on and on and on. He said he heard about the running back tradition and he wanted to be a part of it. And he's a guy with plenty of size, 6'1", 195, can break tackles, but I think he has breakaway speed as well. I'm not going to sit here and say he's Keith Marshall, Todd Gurley, DeAndre Swift fast, but I think he's as fast as guys like James Cook, Sonny Michel, Kenny McIntosh, who I think is very similar to. If there's a running back on the roster right now that I would compare him to, it is Kenny McIntosh, because the dude can catch. He's extremely versatile, and he rushed for like 615 yards last year, 8 touchdowns, caught 35 passes, I think, for close to 500 yards, 6 more touchdowns. So 14 touchdowns last year as a sophomore, 8 rushing, 6 receiving. The dude can catch the ball and he can make plays, and he's a shifty running back. Runs with balance. He has good footwork, can make guys miss, but his ability to make plays out of the backfield in the screen game, even vertically, just get him on a wheel route, he's going to beat a lot of linebackers in coverage. There just aren't a lot of guys who can cover him because he is shifty and can create separation on his own. But I think he's plenty fast for a guy 195 pounds. He sure doesn't look like he's that heavy on film because the dude just glides. I think he's a natural runner. He picks up yards in a hurry. So he's someone who can break tackles physically, but he can juke you out and he can make guys miss. So there's a lot to like about his game. And again, they needed a running back on the board in a hurry. And I've said for a while, they are sitting in a good spot for a lot of really impressive running backs in the 2024 class. But Tovani Mizell wanted to jump on the commit list soon and become a Georgia Bulldog. Now, of course, with these early commitments, always comes a chance that they might decommit down the road, especially with him being an out-of-state kid. Penn State is going to come knocking on his door. Michigan, we'll see where he is on Ohio State's board. Notre Dame, I think, is looking at him. So there are a lot of big-time programs still recruiting him, I think. But he is young. He still has 2 more years of high school. So it's crazy to say that he's not really going to look anywhere. Because no one is 100% committed unless they sign. I've said that for a while. So we'll see if he takes any other visits this fall somewhere. But right now he is a Georgia Bulldog. And again, he's one of the best in the 24 class. And I'm pretty sure the staff wanted him to jump on board early. You never want that hole in your class at running back, especially the way Georgia runs the football. It was not a great look when Justice Haynes decided to spurn Georgia for Alabama and start his own legacy over there. Richard Young was the guy they recruited for a long time, and he obviously went to Alabama. And then Reuben Owens was a guy that Del McGee has been been in touch with and has kept his eye on since the dude was in like 8th grade in his freshman year. So he's built a relationship with Reuben Owens for years. He's committed to Louisville, and unless he gets a better NIL deal, I think that's where he's going to stay. As it relates to the 23 class, they still need a guy there. You can't go an entire recruiting class and not sign a running back or 2. I still think Georgia needs to take 2 every class. They did last year, Andrew Paul and Branson Robinson, 2 guys who might play in some mop-up duty this year. I think Branson Robinson, when healthy, is going to be a very, very good back. But Roderick Robinson, the third, I believe, out of San Diego, is just a bowling ball, 6'1", about 230, that Georgia has offered, and I think is recruiting. He's a UCLA commitment. Listen, I would love to play in Southern California. It's beautiful out there. I've only been once, and it was for the Rose Bowl a few years ago, but it was 75 degrees on January 1st, so I have no problem going back. But when you're talking about running the ball at UCLA versus running the ball in Athens between the hedges for running back university, then it's an easy decision. So if Georgia continues to push for him, again, he's committed to UCLA right now, but wouldn't surprise me if he backed off that decision and looked elsewhere, especially at a place like Georgia who needs running backs, and they're looking for guys who can break tackles. Speed is great, and you need to have running backs who can run and outrun defenders who can take it to the house on any particular play. But at the end of the day, you need a Zamir White, a guy who can keep the chains moving and give you 4 yards on a 2nd 5 or 3rd and 5, a guy who can break tackles, keep the chains moving, especially at the end of ball games when Kirby loves to just run that clock out. We saw it against Florida. We saw it against Auburn. We saw it against Clemson, that final drive. And they ran it successfully when they needed to against Alabama. And it's because they have guys who don't fall down the first time they get hit. They keep the chains moving. They fall forward for extra yards. And Roderick Robinson, the third, is a guy who can do that. And he falls forward and he pushes for extra yards. It's tough to bring a guy down. He's 220, 230. So he's not much of a speed demon. But Tovani Mizell is a guy who will give you some speed, some misdirection, and some versatility. Again, Georgia, Todd Monken loves to throw to the backs. We saw that last year with James Cook. He wants to put his playmakers in a position where they catch a lot of passes. And Tovani Mizell is a guy who did that last year as a sophomore. I expect him to do that even more as a junior and senior. So he's only going to get better. And his versatility is a big reason why I think Georgia pursued him more than other 2024 running backs who could have chosen Georgia and still might. Listen, if you're a 2024 running back and you're looking at Georgia and they are struggling to find a guy in the class ahead of you, and you can see early playing time at a place like Georgia, major program not only in the SEC but in the country, yeah, I would jump on that opportunity quickly as well. So easy decision for him. I get it, why he wants to jump on board early. No, he doesn't play against the best competition in Maryland. I'm not trying to hate on it because it's solid. It's okay, but it's not 7A football in Georgia. So he does a lot of good things up there, plays for one of the better programs up there, but I'm not an expert on high school football in Maryland, so I don't know exactly the type of competition he's going against. I know he plays on a great program. I would like to see him go up against, teams in the metro area or in South Georgia, just big powerhouse 7A programs in Georgia where it's some of the best competition across the country. But he's from Maryland, but he can run the ball. And again, there's a lot to like about his game. Obviously, Georgia wanted to get him on board soon, and they landed his commitment today. Again, 616 yards, 8 touchdowns on the ground last year, caught 34 passes for 480 yards and 6 touchdowns. I had these numbers right in front of me earlier and guessed. I think I guessed halfway correctly, but go check out the story we have on him. This is a big, much-needed commitment, even though it is in the 24 class. They still need a back in 23, but they have one of the best in the country on board already in Tovani Mizell. Just an excellent, versatile running back with size. Again, 6 foot, 6'1", close to 200 pounds. So he's going to be ready to carry the load. I say carry the load. He's not going to have to because Georgia has other running backs, but he can carry the rock, and I think he's going to be SEC ready the day he steps on campus. Still 2 more years of high school to go, but promising young running back that is now on the commit list for the University of Georgia. Guys, thanks for watching this video. Check out us on TikTok, on Instagram. We have a lot coming throughout the year. This year, we're going to be putting up a lot of cool stuff there, covering the games, maybe some cool interactions and dances on at Sanford Stadium between the hedges while we cover all of these games. But we're excited for the ride. We think it's going to be a special season. Make sure you check out DAWGSTRUCTION and the season preview that we have that we've worked really hard on. Again, the season is in 3 to 4 weeks away. It is almost here, so make sure you are ready for the upcoming season. Get the magazine, get DAWGSTRUCTION, and stay tuned to Dog Post for the latest and greatest, not only as it relates to Georgia Bulldog team news, but on the recruiting trail as well. I still think Georgia has a chance to add multiple commitments in the month of August. It was a great month of July for the Dogs. They did miss on a couple guys, but overall, it was an outstanding month, and I think August could be really good as well. So make sure you stay tuned. Thanks for watching this video. As always, stay tuned to the next one coming up right now, and I will see you over on Dog Post.